The chief movements occurring in the knee joint is flexion and extension. It is a complex type of hinge type of synovial joint. So main movement is the flexion and extension, and other conjunct movements are medial and lateral rotation of the knee joint. Okay, so how this occurs, flexion and extension? So these are the chief or main movements of the knee, and they take place in the meniscofemoral or upper compartment of the knee joint. Okay, knee joint have C-shaped cartilage plates. These are known as meniscus. These meniscus are dividing the knee joint into upper or meniscofemoral compartment and lower or meniscotibial compartment. Okay, so flexion and extension are occurring in the meniscofemoral compartment, that is the upper compartment. Okay, understood? So during the flexion, the posterior angle between the thigh and the leg decreases, whereas in extension, the posterior angle between the thigh and the leg increases. Okay, what is the axis of movement? The flexion and extension take place around the transverse axis, and this axis moves forward and upward in extension and in the reverse direction during the flexion. Okay, and the movement of flexion and extension, these are associated with conjunct rotation like this. Okay, during full extension it is completed by medial rotation of femur on the tibia when the foot is on the ground. Okay, and when the foot is off the ground, rotation of tibia occurs. Okay, femur is fixed because patient is in sitting position, so femur will be fixed, and when it is the leg is off the ground, rotation of tibia will occur. In the beginning of flexion, so this medial rotation, it is performed by the vastus medialis muscle, and it is known as locking of the knee joint. Okay, next, in the beginning of flexion, the femur is laterally rotated, okay, on the tibia from the fully extended position. When we are starting flexion of the knee, the femur is laterally rotated on the tibia when foot is on the ground, and popliteus muscle performs this action, and this is called the unlocking of the knee joint. Okay, so popliteus muscle is called unlocking muscle of the knee joint. This is one explain why question, why popliteus muscle is called unlocking muscle of the knee joint, because it helps in the lateral rotation of the tibia during the beginning of flexion. Okay, so this point is important for your explain why. Next, other two movements occurring in the knee joint are the medial and lateral rotation. Medial and lateral rotation of knee joint occur in the meniscotibial or lower compartment of the joint. Okay, in between the meniscus and the tibia, lower compartment of the knee joint. And these rotatory movements take place at a small range. Axis of movement, this movements takes place around vertical axis. Medial rotation and lateral rotation occurring around the vertical axis. And these rotation movements can take place in isolation, but mostly they take place in conjugation with flexion and extension of the knee joint, that is during locking and unlocking of the knee joint. Okay, and you can see the flexion and extension of the knee joint occurring around transverse axis. Okay, and this medial and lateral rotation is occurring around the vertical axis. So locking and unlocking comes as a part of the long question. Okay, knee joint is very important for long question. You must know the ligaments, different movement occurring, muscles involved, all these are important. Okay, range of movement. So this flexion chief muscles, here we will discuss the movements of knee joint and their muscles producing this movement. So first is flexion chief muscle involved are the biceps femoris, semitendinosus, semimembranosus. Accessory muscles are popliteus, sartorius, gracilis, gastrocnemius and plantaris. Next, extension is done by quadriceps femoris and accessory muscles is tensor fascia lata. And next is medial rotation of flexed leg. It is done by semitendinosus and it is helped by sartorius. And lateral rotation of the flexed leg, it is done by semimembranosus and popliteus and helped by the gracilis. And locking rotation of the flexed leg, it is done by biceps femoris and it is helped by gluteus maximus and tensor fascia lata. Locking of the knee done by vastus medialis, unlocking is done by popliteus. Okay. These muscles involved are also important for your MCQ. Unlocking muscle of knee, locking muscle of knee, other different movement and their muscles. So this is the summarization. So knee joint is helping in movement, its location we will discuss for each of the movement. This is the axis and chief muscles involved. So first is flexion. Flexion takes place in the meniscofemoral compartment or upper compartment of the knee joint. It occurs around transverse axis, flexion and extension. Both are taking place in the upper compartment, that is meniscofemoral compartment. And muscles involved are for flexion, biceps femoris, the hamstring group of muscles mainly. Okay, so biceps femoris, semitendinosus, semimembranosus, and extension is done by quadriceps femoris. Next is locking. Locking is medial rotation of the femur done by vastus medialis. Unlocking is lateral rotation of the femur done by popliteus. Okay. So how the locking and unlocking is occurring, we will discuss in details. So locking of the knee joint, it is defined as the positioning of femur on the tibia to stabilize the leg and to minimize the muscular efforts during standing. Okay. So here this is locking, medial rotation of the femur. See this is femoral condyle and the lower one is the tibial condyle, and this through this point passes the vertical axis for rotation. Around this axis medial rotation and here lateral rotation during unlocking of knee is occurring. Okay. So what is the mechanism? When foot is on the ground, the medial rotation of femur in the last phase of extension, during the last 30 degree of extension, locks the knee joint. Okay, and muscles involved are this quadriceps femoris, mainly the vastus medialis. This is the locking muscle. And what is the utility? Why it is locked? To reduce the muscle efforts in standing. Okay. What is the anatomical basis for this? How it is occurring? The anteroposterior diameter of the lateral condyle of femur is less than the medial condyle. Okay, you can see the condyles of tibia. See this one is medial condyle, this is lateral condyle. Okay, so anteroposterior diameter of the lateral condyle of the femur. This one is femoral condyles. Okay, here this is medial condyle and the lateral condyle. Okay. Okay, so anteroposterior diameter of the lateral condyle of femur is less than the medial condyle, and as a result, during extension, when the lateral articular surface is fully unused, hence further extension, when the lateral articular surface is fully used up, a part of medial condyle remains unused. Okay, during this position, you can see part of the this is medial side, this is lateral side. This part of the medial condyle is unused. So it will rotate medially, so fully located in this over this medial condyle. So hence for further extension, when the lateral articular surface is fully used up, a part of medial condyle remains unused. Hence, for further extension, the lateral condyle rotates around its vertical axis and the medial condyle rotates backward. Medial condyle is rotating backward and lateral condyle is rotating medially, and it results in medial rotation of the femur around the vertical axis passing through the lateral condyle of femur till the remaining part of the medial condyle articular surface is also taken up. Okay, and this movement locks the knee joint. Okay, what are the ligaments? In locking position, all the knee ligaments are becomes taut and knee becomes absolutely rigid. Okay. Next, we are going to unlocking. This is in fully extended position. From that position, here lateral rotation of the femur is occurring in the beginning of flexion. That is known as unlocking. Unlocking of the knee joint is defined as the lateral rotation of femur on the tibia during the initial phases of flexion. What is the mechanism? When the foot is on the ground, the lateral rotation of femur in the beginning of flexion unlocks the knee joint, and the muscle responsible is popliteus muscle. And what are the ligament in position of ligament? In unlocking, the knee ligament gets relaxed and the joint loses its rigidity. Okay. So this is the difference between locking and unlocking of the knee joint. So when it occurrence, locking of knee joint occurs in the last phase of extension. Unlocking of knee joint occurs in the beginning of flexion. And movement with foot on the ground, here medial rotation of femur occurs during locking, and unlocking lateral rotation of femur. And opposite rotation of tibia occurs when foot is off the ground. Okay, when foot is off the ground, tibia lateral rotation of tibia occurs during locking and medial rotation of tibia occurs during unlocking. And muscle responsible for is vastus medialis for locking and popliteus for unlocking. Knee ligaments remains taut during locking and remains relaxed during unlocking of knee joint. And joint rigidity, joint becomes rigid during the locking of knee joint and joint becomes relaxed or flexed during unlocking of the knee joint. The foot is on the ground, that means tibia and fibula are fixed. Okay, so this is semi flexed position. During full flexion, full extension, during full extension the femur rotates slightly medially. Okay, that is known as locking of the knee joint. And during flexion, during the starting phase of flexion, femur first rotates laterally, that is known as unlocking of the knee joint, and then there will be flexion. Okay, and when foot is off the ground like this, tibia is free floating and femur is fixed, patient is sitting over the buttock. Okay, then in case of locking, when there is extension, tibia is rotating laterally. Okay, so this will be the locking, and during the flexion tibia first rotates laterally and then there will be the flexion. Okay, sorry, tibia flex medially during the unlocking, just opposite to the femur movement rotation of the tibia. So locking and unlocking is clear. Okay, so you practice a short note on locking and unlocking of the knee joint. So next we are going to the inversion and eversion of the foot. Okay, we will revising it. We have already discussed it in the lecture. So what is inversion and eversion? This is also important part of long question or comes as a short note. Okay, so inversion and eversions are rotational movements of the foot. Inversion, it is a movement in which the medial border of foot is elevated and sole faces medially. See, this is the normal anatomical position. This is inversion. Medial border is elevated and the sole is facing medially. And this is eversion. In eversion, it is a movement in which lateral border of foot is elevated and sole faces laterally. Okay, And this is the degree of movement. Inversion occurs up to 30 degree, eversion occurs up to 20 degree. Okay, and these are the muscle involved. Inversion is done by tibialis anterior, tibialis posterior, and eversion is done by peroneus longus, peroneus brevis, and peroneus tarsius. Okay. So what is the axis? Axis is passing through the center of curvature of talocalcaneo-navicular joint. This one, and another point, this passing through the center of curvature of subtalar joint. Okay, and axis is a oblique axis. Our axis is passing through the heel and through the neck of the talus, and also through the sinus tarsi. Okay, here is the sinus tarsi. So, what are the joint taking part in the inversion and eversion are the subtalar joint, that is talocalcaneal joint, and the talocalcaneo-navicular joint. See, this joint is the subtalar joint and this joint is the talocalcaneo-navicular joint. These two joints are taking part in inversion and eversion. And what is the axis of an accessory joint are transverse tarsal or mid-tarsal joint. What is the axis of movement? The movement of inversion and eversion take place around the oblique axis that runs forward, upward and medially. You can see here, axis is like this, from calcaneum to talus, okay, forward, upward and medially. Around this axis, inversion and eversion is occurring. This will be the inversion, this will be the eversion, okay. So, this is subtalar joint, here is the talocalcaneo-navicular joint and here is the mid-tarsal joint. Okay, all these joints are involved, mainly subtalar and talocalcaneo-navicular. And this axis passes from back of the calcaneum through the sinus tarsi to the superomedial aspect of neck of the talus. Okay. What is the range of movement? The range of movements of inversion is more than eversion. Inversion 30 degree, eversion 20 degree. In plantar flexion, the ankle joint becomes less stable and increases the range of movement of inversion and eversion. And in plantar flexion, the narrow posterior part of trochlear surface of talus occupies the large anterior part of tibiofibular mortise. Okay, and which permits the slight side to side movement of the talus. Next we are going to the muscles. First principal muscle is tibialis anterior and tibialis posterior for inversion. Okay. Accessory muscles are flexor hallucis longus, flexor digitorum longus, and muscles of eversion are principal muscles are peroneus longus and peroneus brevis. Accessory muscle is peroneus tarsius. Okay, so these are the muscles involved in inversion and eversion. Now, what are the limiting factor for these movements? Limiting factors limit the range of movement. These are this. Okay, inversion is limited by tension of peronei muscle, peronei longus and brevis. They are doing the eversion, so they will restrict the inversion movement. And the cervical ligament is connected to the neck of the talus. And eversion is limited by the tension of the tibialis anterior, tibialis posterior and deltoid. These are responsible for inversion, so they will prevent eversion of the foot. একে তোল তো ঘুমিয়ে গেছে শ্বাস বেঞ্চে কি করছিস তুই ক্লাসে শুনছিস না ঘুমাসনি রাত্রে Next, what is the functional significance? Okay, so the movements of eversion and inversion, it help to walk on the uneven ground or sloping ground. Okay, that is the help of inversion and eversion. And when the feet are on the ground, the movement of inversion and eversion get modified as supination and pronation. So, what is supination and pronation of foot? That is also asked in your theory. Okay, these are components of inversion and eversion movements. In pronation and supination, the distal part of foot, that is forefoot, it rotates on the talus and calcaneum. And in supination, the medial border of forefoot is elevated, whereas in pronation, lateral border of forefoot is elevated. And these movements mainly occur at the metatarsal joint and the tarsometatarsal joint. So this is the difference between inversion and eversion. In inversion, medial border of foot is elevated. In eversion, lateral border of foot is elevated. Sole of the foot faces medially in inversion and sole of the foot faces laterally in eversion. Associate movement is for inversion, plantar flexion of foot and adduction of foot. And for eversion, dorsiflexion of foot and adduction of foot. Okay. Range of movement is 30° for inversion and it is 20° for eversion. Principal muscles are tibialis anterior, tibialis posterior. For inversion, for eversion, peroneus longus and peroneus brevis. Main joint involved is subtalar and talocalcaneo-navicular. Both of the cases, these two joints are involved. And inversion is associated with supination of the foot. Eversion is associated with pronation of the foot. Okay, so these are the difference between inversion and eversion of the foot. Okay, that's all. Okay, so you prepare knee joint for your long question. The ligaments, articular surfaces, type of joint, muscles, different movements, muscle involved, all these are important, and the unlocking, okay, all comes in your long question, and unlocking can come individually as a short note. And also prepare inversion and eversion as part of long question or short note it can come. Okay, if comes as a long question will come from those subtalar and talocalcaneo navicular, or it can come as a describe the joints of the foot like this. Okay, so prepare all the joints, type of joints and rest of the points. Okay, any queries from this? No queries? Okay, and MCQs come and those explain why. Why popliteus muscle is called unlocking muscle of the foot, unlocking muscle of the knee joint. Okay, and another thing, the MCQs, knee joint muscle involved, those are comes in your MCQ also. Okay, so knee joint is a complex type of synovial joint. Okay, complex because it has a cartilage plate which is dividing the joint into two compartments. That's why it is complex type of synovial joint.